Hello, 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 everybody. How are you doing? Hi, Robin. I see you on here. So let me know if you can hear and see me while we're waiting for other people to come into the chat. Let me know if you can see me and hear me because I'm hoping everything is working out great tonight. Uh, so I'll wait to see what happens, what kind of a response. I'm hoping everybody that's on, if you're not already on um, the chat, okay, you see and hear me. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you. Thank you, Kingsbury Craft. Well, hello, welcome everybody. Welcome to Shirley's Threadwork Wind Down Tuesday. And I am back. Thank you. Thank you, Val. Welcome back. I am so happy because it has been a minute. It has definitely been a minute. A couple of months, actually, to be honest about it. And I have to let you know, for those of you that may have tried to tune in last week, that was an epic, epic failure, big mess. Oh my goodness, I tell you, I was so upset, so disappointed. You won't believe that I was on with my internet provider, Xfinity, for 3 hours last Tuesday night trying to get everything working. I was on there an hour before time to go on air and then a couple of hours after the fact and still did not get anything done. I didn't get my internet fixed um, until Thursday because it went out on Tuesday, and then of course nothing worked on Wednesday, and they came out here and they actually fixed it. There was something going on outside with the wiring and everything, and it wasn't connected, and things were, I mean, it was just a big mess. Then they had to come inside, go into the wall, and do some things as well. So it was a big, big mess that was going on with the internet in my house on last Tuesday. So it was so hard. Well, obviously it didn't work. That's all I can say. It didn't work. And I am so sorry. I do apologize to everybody that came on. I I appreciated the fact that you did come on and welcome me back. And now that I'm back today, I do appreciate every one of you that are watching. So I want to say a big shout out and hello and thank you for supporting me. Thank you for coming back to watch me. For everybody that is in YouTube land and Facebook land, and of course to everybody that will be watching the replay. I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I am back, and hopefully everything will go great tonight, and I won't have another issue with the internet. So I am here. So let me say hi to people I have not spoken to so far. I said Robin and Cindy, Kingsbury Craft, Val, Becky, Sharon, and Carol. Leslie, how are you? It's raining in Virginia, and thank you. It's great to be back. I am. It's not raining here. We got nice weather for a change. Actually, it's been hot, and I'm not complaining about that because that wet weather was about to get me down. And Carol, you said last week was not my fault. We got it now. No, it wasn't my fault, but I still feel bad about it because I had promised to be back on the air last week, and I tried, but it just did not work. And the unfortunate thing is the fact that it had been working because some of the ladies that do my Wednesday sew along, we had already done 2 weeks on Zoom prior to last Tuesday, and I was able to get on with the internet and everything. So it was a big surprise to me that last Tuesday my internet wasn't working because it had worked as far as me being able to do live streaming and things like that. That just came out of the wild blue and just took me by surprise, and it was basically nothing I could do about it. But I am back now, and hopefully I won't have any more of those kinds of issues. Hi, Pearl. How are you? Thank you for stopping by. And Catherine. So I think I got everybody so far that I see in the chat. If I haven't spoken to you, just put something in there and let me know. And Leslie, you say your internet went out too. These internet things can be a pain in the butt. That's all I can say about that. Um, but mine was definitely an issue that wasn't in my control at all. It had nothing to do with me. It had nothing to do with my computer. It was strictly the wiring of the internet itself coming into the house. And so that's the reason why we couldn't do anything over the phone because, like I said, I was with the internet company for 3 hours straight. Trust and believe me, 3 hours straight. I got so frustrated and angry with them. I told them enough is enough. Send somebody out here, and I ain't paying for it. And I was serious. Like it's obviously something wrong with the system. The internet issue is not coming from me. But anyway, that got taken care of. Hi, Joyce. How are you? Thank you for stopping by. So, I'm pretty sure everybody, or at least the majority of you, know that I moved out of the state of Maryland. I am no longer in Maryland. I am now currently in the Midwest, back in Missouri, which is my home birth state. I am originally a St. Louisan. That's where I was born and lived most of my life off and on. And but I'm not in St. Louis. I am in Kansas City, Missouri, which is a place that I used to live in many years ago when I was working as a pharmaceutical rep. Actually, was pretty much my first territory area, and I lived here for about 9 years. So it's like coming home again. And my very best girlfriend that we've been friends for over 30 plus years, um, lives here and asked me to come back and help her in her business. And that's what I agreed to do. So I am no longer an unemployed, retired person. I have gone back to work part time, not full time, but part time, helping out my friend in her business as her nurse, believe it or not. But I'm not doing hands-on nursing. Thank you, Jesus. I'm not doing that. I didn't want to go back and do something that was going to be strenuous or uh, too stressful. So most of what I do is inside in an office, dealing with you know appointments and things like that. So no big deal, but that's what I'm doing. So I wanted everybody to know that I have moved. I'm in Central Time now, but I decided not to change the time um, when I make my announcement because I didn't want to get anybody confused. I didn't want anybody to wonder, well, okay, what time is she coming on or whatever? Because it's actually just 7 o'clock here where I am. Central Time, but we've always did 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that will be the way it would always be, even though I know people are in other time zones and you adjust your time accordingly as I have. So wanted to let you know that. And also, it took me 55 zillion million years to get all packed up with all of the stuff that I had to pack. And I'm talking about all of my crafting things. I know I had well over 30 boxes of stuff that came out of my little room of craft equipment and embroidery equipment, sewing machines, and you name it, everything. I was so um, shocked, surprised, frustrated with all the things that I had accumulated. I didn't know I had. Oh my goodness. And got it all packed up, got everything moved here. And then in all honesty, it took me a good month to get everything unpacked and set up and situated in my new studio. It looks like it's a little bit larger than what I came out of, but not as large as I wanted it to be. And in all honesty, I'm going to, just put it out there. This is a temporary stop. This is not going to be our final place where we're planning on moving. We will still be in Kansas City, but we'll be moving to a different house. I put it that way. Don't know exactly when that's going to happen, but it will happen. So don't be surprised when I tell you I'm moving again. Don't be surprised, and I'm hoping that that will be the last move. But when we got here, things did not prove to be what we had been expecting or told. So, it's kind of like a baby switch situation. And, when those things happen, you just kind of go with the flow until you can do better. So that's where we are right now. But I am going to make a promise. It's not going to take another 2 months for us to get situated and back on air. Hopefully things will move very quickly because I'm not packing up all of my stuff. We're not going to move that far, so we won't have to just take everything apart, box it up, move it. We're just going to kind of move it, put it in a truck and take it and move it into another house. So it'll be a much easier and quicker move whenever that happens. It's not going to happen, anytime soon. It will be several months, if not a year. We're hoping it's not going to be a year, but at least several months, we know. But anyway, so Carol, I hope my machines traveled well. So far, they have. I have stitched out the I haven't made anything since I've been here, put it that way. So I haven't done any major embroidery or sewing or anything like that. But on my 10 needle machine back here, I did stitch out the tension um, pattern just to check all the needles to make sure they're working and everything went fine. And so uh, that has happened. Everything has worked. I had this puppy locked down with those red um, protector things for those of you that have a PR 1055X. It comes with a some red bars that you put on the arm that moves so you can stabilize it so it doesn't move. I had that on there, and then I had it all cushioned and bubble wrapped and shrink wrapped, and I had towels. I wrapped it up like a mummy, put it that way, because I don't have the box anymore. So I did a lot of wrapping of it and cushioning it up really, really well. And happy to say it did travel well. All of the other machines, if I didn't have the original boxes, which some of them I did, and the ones that I didn't have original boxes for, I made sure that I cushioned them up really well with bubble wrap, towels, pillows, anything I had to keep things from moving around and shifting and stuff. So I don't have any visual damage. I have had uh, made, well, did a little stitching on a couple of the machines as well as the big machine. And so far, everything has worked. As far as my printers and my what is this thing, sublimation printer and all those things like that, those are working. So I don't think I had any damage basically. And actually, even when I unpacked the things that I have unpacked, there was only one thing broken. And it wasn't broken so bad that it wasn't something that I could put back together. So I have to be very thankful for that we didn't have a major catastrophe with the things that we packed and moved. And this was a cross-country move. So um, I've moved a lot, so I'm pretty good at packing stuff. I'm pretty good at packing stuff and cushioning stuff, and I will spend a ton of money on bubble wrap and shrink wrap and all of those kinds of things. And I'll grab every pillow I own in my home, bed pillows, couch pillows, throw pillows, whatever you got, blankets, all that kind of stuff, and I will stuff things around, towels, everything, to make sure that nothing moves and it has a good cushion so we don't damage anything. And have any major problems like that. So that turned out to be just fine so far. And I'm happy. The one thing I have to say, I'm pretty happy with my room. I like I mentioned is a little bit larger than what I had, and I also have a walk-in closet in this room that's a little bit larger than what I had. And so I've been able to store a lot of things in my closet, and I have them in bins and stuff all nice and neat and organized so I can get to them, but I don't have to have them all out and about like I ended up in my other place where I had stuff stuck under tables and everything, and it looked a hot mess. And I did not want to go back to that here. I still have a few more things that I need to do in this studio to get it exactly the way I want it. But the one thing that I'm very happy about, and I know I had mentioned it before, was my table, this table that's right here. I do have room to let it up. It's the one that's on the leaf. It's kind of the same table that Jeanette has in her studio, where you can let it up and let it down, and it's movable. And I'm able to let it all the way up, and I'm able to get around it on three sides. So that is something I'm very happy about, because when I was in my other house, apartment, I couldn't. It was just out like a table, and I only could get to it in one direction. And it made it difficult for me to lay things out, cut things out, and all of that. And I didn't want that to be the case here. So I was able to manage that. So now I have a cutting table. I am so happy where I can at least get around on three sides and be able to maneuver and do the things that I want to do when I want to lay out fabric or patterns and stuff like that and do my cutting and everything. So I'm very, very happy about that. Hi, Deborah. How you doing? Thanks for stopping by. I do appreciate it. And I just wanted to let everybody know while it's on my mind, because I will forget. Uh, Now that my internet is working, hopefully it will continue to work. We will have our Zoom meeting tomorrow night. So that should not be an issue. I'm hoping that everything works out. Um, Carol, you said, so Jeanette retires and you go back to work. Yeah, life is always a surprise, isn't it? And you know what? That is true. That is true. It's kind of funny. And I was concerned. I've been concerned about Jeanette and everybody that I know that worked in the government, uh, uh, about whether or not they were going to have to retire or choose to retire or whatever. Because my daughter-in-law works for the government, and so far she's still working. Her daughter, unfortunately, had just graduated, got her PhD, and had gotten a job with the USDA, and because she was a probationary employee, unfortunately, she was let go with all of the massive uh, proba- probationary employees. So hopefully, I don't know if she's found anything else or not, but that was always something that I was concerned about. All of these people that I know that work for the government, whether or not they were being affected. But I know Jeanette is happy because she was counting down the days for her retirement anyway, so it just came a little bit early for her. And you know, if she's happy, I'm happy, and hopefully everything works out well for her. But you're right, Carol. You know, we just kind of switched. She retired, and I went back to work. But keep in mind, and I have to continue to remind my girlfriend too, this is part time. This is not full time. And it is Wine Down Tuesday. So I do have my wine. Anybody else interested in joining me? Please do. Please do. So, what has been going on with you guys since I've been gone for two months? And Leslie, you were saying that your internet went out and you had to get a temporary line strung across your yard for about 2 weeks to hook up. Uh, oh my God! You know what's going on with these internet things? They didn't have to do that with mine, but they did have to go in and do some major surgery, it seems like, because they had to go into the wall and do some things after they did all of the stuff that they had to do outside. Then they had to come inside and do some work to get everything going. And so it did finally, obviously worked. And then Robin, you said you were out for a day without service as well. Yeah. I don't know. Hopefully those things are behind us for now. I hope. I really do hope. Hi, Marissa. I don't think I spoke to you. How are you? Thank you for stopping by. I do appreciate it. I think I have spoken to everybody. Pearl, did I say hi to you? If not, hi, Pearl. Thank you for stopping by. So it is. I didn't do a big, you know, presentation type thing for tonight. I have a few things that I want to talk about, not a lot. And but I just wanted to come back, say hi, get back reacquainted with everybody, let you guys know what's going on in my life, what I've been doing, pretty much staying busy, busy, busy. And also because of the fact that I am working now and I don't have as much time at home as I used to have because I've been going in because initially you got to go in for your orientation and all that kind of stuff, and then go in and figure out what's going on in my office because I do share the office with another nurse. We're both the two of us together is making a whole um, position. She's part-time, I'm part-time. That works out perfectly for the both of us because neither one of us really want to work full-time anymore. But we've been working together for a few weeks now just to kind of get everything up and rolling because unfortunately the nurse that my girlfriend had got sick all of a sudden and couldn't work anymore, and that's kind of what opened up the opportunity for me because she and I had talked for years about coming and working for her, and I kept you know not doing it. I wasn't ready. But she finally talked me into it and convinced me that it would be a good thing for the both of us to get back together, hang out together like we used to, and do all those kinds of things. And we've done a few things since I've been back, and she doesn't stop. We're the same age. We're the exact same age. But she's a firecracker. She goes a whole lot, and she wants me to get back in the groove with that. And I don't know if I'm ready for all that or not, but I'm gonna try my best to hang in there. Try my best to hang in there as much as I can, and then work. So working and then doing my embroidery and doing my Etsy and all of that kind of stuff is going to keep me really really busy, which I guess is good for you to keep you from growing old and getting rusty. The brain, I'm using my brain a little bit more now because I got to go back and grab my nursing knowledge and start pulling that out my head, trying to remember all of those kinds of things and refresh myself and pull out. Well, I didn't pull out no nursing books. I got me some more nursing books, some drug books mostly to learn about all these new drugs and stuff that I haven't been uh, um, familiar with in quite a while, and just kind of keep up with all that kind of stuff. So I have a whole lot of things on my plate right now. Trust and believe me, a lot of things on my plate trying to get organized and figure out how I'm going to spend my time to do all the things that I want to do because I don't want to give up anything with you guys, with my live stream, with my Zoom, with my Etsy shop, with me just doing my embroidery and all of that stuff for pleasure and also for business because I still have a business. I still have people that want me to do things for them, and I'm still doing that. So it is a lot of things on my plate, but I'm up for the challenge. And because I'm blessed with the fact that it is a part-time job, I just work like maybe 2.5 days a week. So that's not so bad. not so bad. So um, if I ever get on here and I look like I'm worn out, trust and believe I'm worn out. We're just gonna put it there. Hi, Margot. How are you? Thank you for stopping by. I do appreciate all of you all stopping in, and I do know that I have people that are not in the chat that are watching me. I would love for you to come in the chat and say hi, even if you don't stay. If you're watching me, if you can come in and just say hi to let me know that you're back watching me, that would be great. But nevertheless, I do appreciate it because what that is telling me is that I matter, I guess, and you guys are glad to see me back as much as I am glad to be back and get back into the groove with everybody. And I do still want you guys to give me some suggestions of what it is that you want me to present to you going forward. I know Father's Day is coming up. So that may be something that you all are working on, trying to get some Father Day gifts or Father Day items together to sell. And I did think about some of the things that would be of interest, especially for guys, because if you guys are like me, I honestly have a hard time trying to come up with things to give as Father Day gifts and that you can embroider or something that's handmade and unique that they would enjoy. Because I even asked my husband the other day, I said, what would you like as a gift that um, can be embroidered? Because I wanted to get a perspective from a man, because we can always come up with something to give women because we're versatile. There's so many things that we like, something that you can wear, something that you can decorate with, something that you can use in your kitchen and so forth and so on. But with men, sometimes I'm not quite sure. And I don't know if you guys have that issue. Do you? Because I know for me, I do. So I decided to just kind of look up some of the things that may be of interest and pretty much similar to what my husband mentioned that he would like to get. So I'm going to go down the list and just, briefly mention some of the things. And you guys can please put in the chat anything that you think of so we can just talk about that. So what I have, first of all, baseball caps. And we all know that baseball caps and things like that are something that guys wear. They wear the trucker hats, they wear beanies, they wear caps and all of that. And of course, it is a timeless accessory. Lots of guys do wear them. You can put initials on them, you can put patches on them, you can put phrases on them, all kinds of stuff that can be put on a hat. If they have a business, you can put their business on there. I know I did some hats for my son a couple of years ago, and I put his business name on the front, and I also put his website address on the back of his cap. So I was able to do that, and he liked that. And Leslie, you said hats and monogram shirts. Good idea. And you are Leslie R. So welcome. We have a Leslie B and a Leslie R. So welcome. And Marissa, um, you're going to make a key fob for your child care father with the child's picture on it this year. Okay, that's an excellent idea. Key fob with a picture on it. That is an excellent idea. I did not think of that. T-shirts and polos, of course, we know those are big things. The one thing that my husband mentioned was like a Leatherman jacket or athletic jacket. Like he likes to wear the big hoodies and stuff for his favorite team and everything. So that could be something that you can consider making. And according to what the AI said, is turn a classic tea into a sentimental keepsake, embroider his favorite motto, a family crest, or even a small emblem that reflects his interests is an example. Like if they like to fish or they're, carpenter or handy with tools and things like that would be cool for t-shirts and polos. Now, talking about hoodies and sweatshirts, which is what my husband had mentioned, idea for cozy days. You can embroider like Super Dad or Best Dad or those kinds of things. Any kind of signature catchphrase would be something that you can put on there. And you can also do their favorite team and stuff like that. I have done several hoodies for my husband, and I've also added phrases and different things that he wanted onto one of his sport hoodies that he has purchased, and it has the team, the logos, and all all of that on there. It went out. I hope that I don't know if you guys saw it, but I did. We went black for a second. Hopefully that's an anomaly and won't happen again. But anyway, he has bought our ready-made hoodies with all of the stuff on it that he wants, but then he wants to personalize it, and he has given me phrases and things that he wanted me to add to it, and that has elevated his hoodie and made it unique because nobody's going to have that particular phrase on that particular hoodie, even though he bought it commercially. Aprons are a good thing, especially if your male that you want to give the gift to is into cooking or grilling or anything like that. That's a good idea. My son considers himself a grill master, and I did give him an apron one year as a Father's Day gift. I believe it was our birthday gift one. Couldn't have been birthday because he was born in December, so it must have been Father's Day because it was something that had to do with outdoor grilling. But I supplemented it. So if you're into sublimation, that's something else that you can do. You can do so many things with sublimation that you may not even be able to do with embroidery. And also if you do vinyl cutting. So don't forget, if you do any of those other kind of crafting things, you can certainly uh, elevate or add to the things that you can give as gifts for Father's Day. And Grill Master, as I say, for the culinary enthusiasts, uh, any kind of message on the apron, and I forgot what I put on his apron, but he really liked it. Tote bags, golf bags, or messenger bags. Guys do carry bags now. I call mail purses, and I know my husband wears this little thing that goes across his chest like that. It's a little pouch. He carries that with him all the time, and so that's something that could be personalized, where they put their everyday accessories in it and carry it on with them. I know my daughter-in-law had me embroider on a bag that she bought for my son for, I believe it was his wedding gift. I believe it was one of the wedding gifts that she gave him. And she had me embroider, I think his name on it. I can't remember. But yeah, that was a good gift. So that's a good idea. And of course, golf bags, golf towels for those people that golf, and throw pillows or cushion covers. Now, I've given throw covers to the men in my family, and you can definitely personalize those and make them something as a gift. They can use it, you know, for their home decor or something like that, for their man cave if they happen to have one or want one. Those are good things. Put it in their favorite chair. I know I did a throw for my husband, and he keeps it in the chair that he sits in the bedroom when he's in there watching TV. And Carol, you mentioned socks. Uh, socks. And I still have to try some Go. Did you get the apparatus that I told you about to try the sock? Go ahead and do that and give it a try, because you can do it. And also, you say you got a scan and cut last week. Good, good. How do you like your scan and cut? I like mine. I like mine a lot. But that's something else that you can use your scan and cut to cut out some vinyl. If you got a heat press, you go ahead and heat press something and put something on there. Use some puff vinyl or anything like that to make things unique. I did a couple of not sweatshirt, hoodies for my grandson that is an up and coming rapper. And I took his rap name and I used my scan and cut to cut it out. And I used puff um, vinyl in my heat press, and I uh, put his name across the front of his hoodie, and he loves it. I have pictures where he has worn them to different performances that he's done and interviews that he's done and stuff like that. So it turned out really well. He was really happy to get it and pretty proud of it, and so was I. Hi, Jenny. How you doing? Don't worry about it. You're not late. We're still here. We're still here. I do appreciate you stopping by. Um, Leslie R., you say you are dying for a scan and cut so bad. Um, my experience with the scan and cut, I have a Cricut and I also have a scan and cut. And believe it or not, I have a Cameo 5, but I've never used that. And I am more than willing to sell it to anybody that's interested. But it's not spank brand new because I've had it a couple of years, but it's spank brand new because I've never used it. I think I plugged it up once. I've never cut anything with it because, to be perfectly honest about it, I could not figure out how to get the thing to work. I don't know why. It just didn't work for me. And I know people that have them and love them and say they're quite simple to use, but it wasn't for me for some crazy reason. I can use my Cricut and I can use my scan and cut, and I haven't had any issue with it. Now, as far as the scan and cut is concerned, I like it. I don't know if I like it better than the Cricut or as much as or the same as the Cricut. I use my Cricut to cut out rhinestone flock because I know how to do the template and all of that stuff in the Cricut design space. I know how to create them in the silhouette business edition, and then I can convert it over in my design space with Cricut and cut it out with um, my Cricut Maker 3, I think it is. But anyway, with the scan and cut, you have to have a rhinestone kit that you have to install with the scan and cut in order to cut the flock and be able to make sure that the size of your holes are going to be correct for the size of the stone. Didn't know that before I got the scan and cut. So I can't use it to cut out rhinestone flock, but I can use it for everything else. So with that being said, I'm using them both. With the scan and cut, you can do everything you want to do right on the machine, which is what I've done, or you can go into the software and do things there. So I have to say that either or works for me, the Cricut or the scan and cut. I wanted the scan and cut because I was misled thinking that it was going to talk to my machine back here, but it won't. It will only talk to like a Luminaire or a Stellaire. It will not talk to the 10 needle machine. And I was not aware of that until after I bought the machine. So I was pretty miffed about that because I didn't really need the scan and cut. Um, if it didn't do that, because that's the reason why I really wanted it. But it doesn't matter. I've used it. I like it. It cuts well, and I don't have a big issue with it. I will tell you their mats are more expensive than the Cricut mats are. You can use generic mats with the Cricut. I'm not sure if you can use a generic mat with the scanning cut because brother is very strict about their stuff, so I don't know about that. But if you already have a cutting machine, then you're good. But the scanning cut, if you plan on getting a scanning cut and you're getting it because you wanted to talk to your machine, make sure it is the right machine. It has to be a Luminaire and or either the new Avenir or a Stellaire. Those are the three machines that I know for a fact that the scanning cut would talk to. I don't think it would talk to any other machines. And they don't tell you that unless you ask, because I honestly did not know that. So that just kind of ticked me off. I am, yeah. And hi, Betty. How you doing? How are you, girl? Girl, girl, girl. You haven't texted me in a minute. We haven't talked. I need to know what's going on. So we're going to have to get on Messenger. I got some questions I want to ask you. But thank you for stopping by. And Leslie R., you said, well, that sounds crazy. And I agree with you on that. And Marissa, you say you love your Cameo 5. I know lots of people that do very well with the Cameo. Like I said, they love it. That's the reason why I got it, because I knew that you could do rhinestones in the silhouette business edition, and I was going to cut out my flock and all that kind of stuff, but I couldn't get that thing to work to save my neck, and I have no idea why. So, like I said, I have a brand new Cameo 5, or is it a 4? It's a 4 or a 5. I can't remember, but regardless, it is new because I have used it. I haven't used it, but if anybody's interested, text me and let me know. Email me and let me know, because I am definitely willing to sell it. So where was I? Apron, toast bag, messenger, throw pillows, cushion, wall art embroidery, hoops. Now this is something, I guess, if you gear it towards what the man is interested in as far as his hobbies, his job, things like that, and then stitch it out, frame it, a quote or something that he likes. If you know how to do, or you can get something digitized where you can do like a photo, that would be really cool that you can do. And like I said, frame it and give it to him, and that's something that he can put in his office or his man cave. I mentioned golf tiles, but also hand tiles or bath tiles. Upgrade his daily routine with a tile embroidered with his monogram or a fun design that hints at his personality. Luxurious and unique, especially if he's, I would say, single, would probably be appropriate for something to be specific for the man. Or if he's like us, me and my husband, we got our own bathrooms. That's one thing that is a definite must in our house. We have to have at least 2 bathrooms. He has his, and I have mine. And we love it that way. So, you can definitely personalize something, which I've done that as well for him, for his bathroom. I've personalized towels and stuff so he can hang up in his bathroom. So that's a good gift as well. We talked about blanket throws, fleece throws, and stuff like that. Now they're talking about table runners or placemats. Never thought about that for a guy. But again, if this is a single guy, he has his own place, of course, why wouldn't he want it? And it says for dads that loves to host, they can have personalized table linens embroidered with his name or initial, a family slogan or crest, a festive motif, anything that can elevate his dining space. That would be a good idea. And patches. Don't forget patches. Patches are something that men do collect. They like to have them on the things that they wear, their caps, their backpack, and you can even stitch on a backpack as well. I've done that for my son. I put his business name and logo, rather his name, logo, and his email address on his backpack that he carries with him. So that's an idea. And then I also made him some patches with his logo and everything on it. That way, any other items that he may have that he wants that on, then I just made a bunch of them up and shipped them to him. I said, this way you can just add it on. You already have them. You don't have to worry about sending it to me, some mama to stitch on it and send it back and stuff. I just made a bunch of them and just mailed them to him. And I said, here you go. You can iron them on anything you want to put them on. So that worked out well for him. Um, and Carol, you said maybe one day they will do a scan and cut update someday so it will talk with our 1055. There's a whole lot of things they need to do to update their 1055X. I'm just going to be honest about it. As much as I love my machine, I am so frustrated with the fact that it doesn't talk to the scan and cut, and the fact that it will not recognize the mighty hoops like so many of these other multi-needle machines. All we need is a software update, and they can do that. I know they can do that, where it will recognize a mighty hoop on your machine, and it will make life so much easier, because I'm willing to bet you at least 90% of people that are using the 1055 10 needle machine are using mighty hoops. I'm positive of that. And I know it's been mentioned, well, they have their own magnetic hoop, but they only have 2 or 3 of them. And in certain sizes, it's very limited. So you don't have the same variety with magnetic hoops. You only have their regular hoops. So why not partner with Mighty Hoop like all the other companies that have multi-needle machines, and make it so that it will recognize your mighty hoop? That's a simple solution. And back to what you said, Carol, update the machine so it can recognize the scanning cut. I don't understand that. That just baffles me. I really don't understand why they have not done that. That's not going to hurt the company. To me, it would enhance them and their sales. But that's just me talking as a consumer. I have nothing to do with what their decisions are, other than tell them what we, the consumers, want. Another thing they mentioned, fabric wallets or coin purses, but it doesn't have to necessarily be fabric. Fabric can be leather or faux leather, or any you can embroider on those things. And bringing that up, it reminded me about the time that I did the video where I actually embroidered on wood. There's a very soft wood that you actually can embroider on. I have a video on it, and you can definitely do that and personalize something for the dad in your life, and make a very unique gift that way. We didn't mention handkerchiefs, um, the cuffs on shirts and pockets. Those are the things that my husband mentioned, because he used to wear the dress shirts every day, French cuffs and all that stuff for the jobs he used to have. So you got somebody that has a white collar job or something like that, or just likes wearing those types of shirts, or they wear them to church, or whatever the situation would be, where they would need French cuffs or something like that. Then that would certainly be a good idea. And also, you can embroider on their pocket on any shirt that they may have. It doesn't have to be a dress shirt, just a regular everyday shirt, button down shirt. You can certainly personalize that and put a monogram or a picture, not a picture, some type of emblem, design, logo, whatever on the shirt. That would be something that I think that they would like. Um, coin purses, I mentioned, and scarves and bandanas. A refined accessory like a scarf or bandana can be upgraded with delicate embroidery ideas for adding a dash of flair for a casual outfit. And I know, Kara, you mentioned socks, and they have socks on here. And though more challenging, socks featuring elegant monograms or fun patterns can be a quirky addition to his collection. Idea for the dad with a playful side. Now, my husband was against the socks. He said, ain't nobody going to see my socks, so why I need something on it. But there are a lot of men that love these decorative socks, these different colored socks, and socks match the shirts and all of that kind of stuff. And if you find somebody like that, putting their initial or some type of design on that sock would be really cool. So don't count that out. There are apparatuses that you could purchase on Amazon or Etsy that you can use to monogram on socks. And I do have a video where I showed how to use one of the apparatus to monogram on a sock. And it's not very hard. And I actually did it on my multi-needle machine, and it is easier to do on a single needle machine. So if you want to give it a try, check out that video and then give it a try. I think that you would be very happy with that. And Marissa, you said you did a mug rug for your son with his logo on it. He loves it for his coffee, tea and soup, and etc. He's a bodybuilder, and you made a pillow with his logo and one with his picture. That's cool. That's cool. Oh, okay, Val. Here's one. Clocks, especially if you supplement children on it. That's a good idea. Good idea. And now that you mention it, it reminds me of the rope bows. Because I did a rope bow and I also did a rope clock. If you guys will remember, I actually made a clock out of rope. So that would be a good idea. And then you embroider on that rope for the clock. So who doesn't need a clock in their office or their man cave or something like that? Definitely, you can personalize that and make it masculine and do a clock. That's an excellent idea. Keychains, key fobs, which was mentioned, and bag tags, especially for those people that travel a lot. I love having a personalized bag tag for my bag. Because one, you don't have to go through that paper tag thing that they give you to put on your bag. And two, you're going to spot it a mile away. You're going to know that's your bag because nobody's going to have that tag. You can make a personalized tag with all the necessary information on it, plus the fact it's going to be unique to that person. Color, design, shape, whatever you decide to do. That's going to make that bag stand out as it's coming down the bag thing carousel and be able to be spotted very quickly. So I think that is good. And of course, key fobs or keychains are good as well. Um, so those are some of the ideas that I have or what the AI had. I'm trying to think, is there anything else as far as embroidery? With sublimation, you get even more for those people that do sublimate, and especially if you do vinyl, there's even more things because you can do so much layering. You can do um, just different stuff. You can put glitter, you can do puff, you can do rhinestones. I was a little bit surprised because I asked my husband about rhinestones as well, and he said that he didn't mind rhinestone depending upon how it's done and what it's done with. I wouldn't, me personally, wouldn't go overboard, but it just depends on that person and their personality. Some people like to sparkle and shine, and they want it all over the place, and they would wear a rhinestone, a shirt with, a lot of glitter, a lot of rhinestone in different places and stuff, and that's perfectly fine and acceptable. For the men in my life that I know, they wouldn't be too big on the rhinestone, but if it's a small amount in an appropriate place, stuff like that, they would be. So those are just ideas where you can definitely um, come up with something that would be unique. And that's always where I'm coming from when I'm thinking about gifts to make as well as gifts to sell. So don't forget about this, the ideas and the things that we're talking about now. They are also things that you can do to sell. Computer case, great idea, great idea. Computer cases, um, briefcase, the cloth ones and or leather ones. You can stitch on those. And gosh, I had something in my mind and it just left. Another something. It'll come back to me. Something else that, oh, I know what it was. The screens. I did a lot of, actually, the one that I have on the wall now that you can see that's next to the little mini quilt. That is a bird in the with some flowers, but that makes a wonderful wall hanging. And they have a lot of designs that would really, wilderness designs, flowers, birds, owls, wolves, all kinds of things that can be turned into masculine type designs that you can make a beautiful wall hanging for the dad in your life by embroidering on screen. And that is easy to do. It's not hard to do. I'm almost certain I have a video on that because I've made quite a few of them. And I'm pretty sure I did a video. I can't remember offhand, but I'm pretty sure that I did. You all can just go into my page and type in screen and see if something pops up. I think I did do that though. But they're very easy to do. You can use your regular 7511 needle. You can use your regular thread. Um, it's not hard. Matter of fact, I know now that I'm thinking about it, I know I did one because I told you what to use, some Vilene, water soluble stabilizer, and all of that. So check that out if you're interested in it. But I think that is a very unique gift. It's something that would look really, really nice in somebody's office or their man cave or whatever, especially if you pick out a really good design. Just keep in mind it needs to be something that's dense. You don't want anything that may be well, basically just keep it a dense design that works better and it looks better. And again, it is not hard to do at all. So those are some of the ideas that I have. And let me see if I have it. Oh, the other thing, utilizing their favorite color as well helps bring personality as well as personalization to your design. So if you know what their color scheme is, you certainly can do that. And I know I didn't mention it, but I just thought about you, Deborah. I know that you made a couple of really beautiful quilts. Now, I know it'd be kind of hard to do a quilt between now and Father's Day if you're not really a quilter. You could do a mini quilt or something. But Deborah did two beautiful quilts. One, if I remember correctly, and Deborah, correct me if I'm wrong, you did one for your brother-in-law, and I think you did one for your son. And I mean, they are absolutely gorgeous. And I know everybody can't quilt like Deborah, but she did a fantastic job with those quilts. And they were for men. And they were astounding. So that's something else you can think about if you are a quilter. you can certainly do that. We talked about aprons, but we didn't talk about mittens and pot holders and things like that. And I'm going to go as far as not only mittens and pot holders, I'm going to go with the bow cozies. I'm in the process of making some, and you can just use the guy's favorite color. You can personalize it with his initial. You can put his logo in it. You can do all kinds of things with the embroidery and make your bow cozy, because I love a bow cozy. I'm always putting something in the microwave. Now you got to get some mittens or some pot holders or a towel or something to get it out because it's so hot, when you can just put it in the bowl cozy, put it in the microwave, and microwave it and bring it out and not burn your hand and stuff. And that is perfect. That's a perfect gift for a guy. I'm telling you, that is a perfect gift for a guy. So don't forget about bowl cozies for your dad. That I think would be a really good a gift for a guy. And Deborah said you were just thinking of a theme quilt for Father's Day. There you go. Yep. And you also say make bowl cozy with his favorite sport team. Yes, that's a good idea too, especially if you get like Leslie. I know you have sport material that you've used and made a lot of mug rugs with. Where you can also use sport team fabric for bowl cozies, and they're reversible. So one team on one side and your other team on the other side. You have your football team on one side and your basketball or your baseball team on the other side, anything like that. And I think that would be wonderful. I think they would just love it to death, and they're going to use it because I'm telling you, uh, men really need bowl coats because they're sticking stuff in the microwave a lot, because a lot of them don't cook. So they're microwaving a whole lot of stuff. And to be able to put your plate, your bowl, or whatever in that bowl coats and stick it in there and bring it out and not have to worry about burning your hand and getting this and all that kind of stuff, I think is an excellent idea. So I guess the stock for bowl coats will just go up. But I really do think that that is an excellent, excellent idea as a Father Day gift. Um, we talked about names and initials, monograms and stuff, embroidered, incorporating special dates like their wedding anniversary, so they'll never forget that, or birthdays of their children, um, a special date, the date they graduated, the date they got promoted, the date they got their first job, whatever, the date of their very first car, all kinds of different things with special dates where they'll remember. We mentioned favorite colors, including symbols or icons that pertain to them, like fishing rods and wrenches if they're into tools and footballs, baseball, whatever hobby they may have. An inside joke, I think, is a good idea too. And that could be in a bowl cozy, that could be on a towel, that could be on a pillow, that could be on a tie, anything like that, where it's an inside joke and nobody knows what it means. It's a conversation starter. It's an icebreaker. Those kinds of things I think would be really, really cool on a gift. Another one I think is also good is convert your own handwriting into a embroidery design where you can write something. Now, if you have a machine like ours, we can do that on our own machine because we have a scanning tray where you can actually write your name, scan it in, stitch it out on something. I've done that. Um, and that definitely personalized anything that you make for them. You can get his own handwriting, his wife's hand, or your mom or whoever handwriting, like anybody that's significant in their life. Get them to write out a cute little note or something, have it converted into embroidery design, and then stitch it onto something that they're going to keep, or something that you'll go ahead, like on a dish towel or some type of canvas cloth and have it framed. Those kinds of things I think would be wonderful. Um, don't forget the family crest or emblem if they have one. And of course, we did mention um, patches. Cannot leave patches out because I know guys love patches, and so do I. I like patches. And don't forget that um, Embrilliance has a software. It used to be Merrily. Now I think I don't remember what it is. It's their patch software. I don't remember what name it is now because they changed the name. But you can convert any design you have into a patch. I have converted designs that were made for a 8 by 10 or 13 by 8 size design, and I've been able to shrink it down small enough for a patch. Those of you may have seen I have a camel jacket that I put a bunch of patches on, and I have so many patches on that jacket where I took big design and I was able to shrink it down and make it a small 3 by 4 patch and put on using that software. And now I'm in the process of getting designs and making them for another jacket. I'm going to put make a jean jacket like that with patches all over it. And I've been collecting designs that I'm going to turn into patches to put on there. Phrases, you make up your own phrases. It's just so much you can do. That's why I love that software so much because it is so easy to personalize a patch and make the patch and put it on whatever garment or whatever you want. So that's a good idea to make something for a guy. Get a jacket, a bomber jacket, a jean jacket, or a shirt of some kind, and just put a bunch of patches on there with things that he would like, phrases, initials, uh, logos, emblems, all of those kinds of things, and just patch it out. Sporting designs and what have you. Just be mindful of copyright, but as long as you're not selling them, then you're supposed to be okay. Um, you just can't sell something that's been copyrighted, but it certainly doesn't say that you can't make it for your own personal use or a gift. You just can't use a copyrighted design or logo or something like that and make money off of it. So as long as you're not selling it, you're okay. So I think we came up with a lot of good ideas about Father's Day gifts. I am well, I don't have a daddy to give one to. My dad been gone a long, long time ago. Um, but I do have guys in my family. So with men in your family, they don't necessarily, be honest about it, they don't necessarily have to be dads, biological fathers, but if they have played the role in the life of a child as some type of mentor or protector or friend or big brother or what have you, they still can be honored on Father's Day. So those are people that you can definitely think about doing a Father's Day gift to. Teachers, ministers, deacons, people in the church that may, interact with children a lot and provide guidance and protection and stuff like that can definitely be honored on Father's Day. Uncles and brothers and cousins. I don't know how many uncles. I had three uncles that were like surrogate fathers in our lives growing up. Me and my siblings' lives growing up. It was so interesting, the relationship and the how the relationship evolved and changed. When we were children, they were our uncles, and they were, like I said, surrogate fathers type, because they would, if we needed some special discipline or guidance or something, our moms would call and like come over and have a conversation with so and so. And then as we got older and became grown, it was a different role. They became like brothers. They were your friends, your buddy. We partied together. We go out together. We have a good time. We go over and visit and take our own kids and stuff like that. And the relationship changed from disciplinary and father figures to brothers and buddies and hang out. And I miss my uncle so much. I miss all three of them because they were so important in my life. They were always there. There was absolutely nothing that I asked my uncles to do that they were able to do that they didn't do. They were always there when I needed them for advice, for an extra hand, to move something, to fix something, to carry me somewhere, to give me advice, all of those kinds of things. And then, like I said, as I got older, had my own family and everything, then they became more like brothers, where big brothers, where they were there for you, but we were able to just kind of hang out with each other, and it wasn't so much of a father-child situation. It was like equals on both sides. So I'm pretty sure people have uncles and cousins and stuff like that in their lives as well, where they have that they have had that hat where they've served in capacities. My brothers, they're both gone. At one point in their lives, they were like father figures to my kids. So it's like their uncles. I remember so well how my kids looked up to my brothers and, was glad to see them and enjoyed them and what have you. And I felt so good that my brothers were there, spending time with my kids and stuff like that. So if you have any men in your life like that, don't forget them. They can definitely benefit from a Father's Day gift or something where you honor them as well for that father figure that they have provided for people that mean something in your life. So those are more people that we can add on to our list of people that you can do Father's Day with. Because, like I said, I don't have any fathers. I don't have a father, and I don't have my uncles, and I don't have my brothers. But I do have my son. I do have my husband. So I do still have some men in my life that I can honor for Father's Day. But I do remember those that have passed on that also were meaningful in my life as well. Um, And then my grandson is a new father, so that's another thing. So think about if you have grandchildren that have, if you're of that age, and you may happen to have a great grandchild, which I do. I have two, and so they're my grandsons. I have two grandsons that have daughters, so they are father figures as well, and very proud of them and their children that are growing up. So, you guys, anything else? Can you think of anything else that we may have forgotten as far as gifts or ideas or anything like that that we can do for Father's Day? I know that we've talked about a lot, and I think we pretty much have covered um, a whole lot of things that we can do. And I'm trying to think right now, is there anything that we haven't uh, thought about? Uh, that we can do and make for guys. Because sometimes I have to be honest about it, I do have difficulties coming up with ideas of what to give a guy on birthdays and any kind of holiday. I'm not good at buying gifts for men. It's crazy, especially my husband, because I think he's picky as all get out. You, you know, and so am I. So I guess I can't complain. But I just always feel a little bit uncomfortable with trying to come up with something. Oh, I know what I forgot, and I made this for my husband. Those composition covers. I did. I made him a composition cover for him to keep a little notebook for whatever it is, taking down messages, jotting down ideas, uh, whatever he wanted to do with it. And the one that I made for him was his zodiac sign, and he still has it and uses it. So that was I thought was a very good gift for him as well. That um, and Carol said, weird thought, but how about fuzzy dice for their car? For those that are into that, um, that's a good idea. But any kind of a stuffed object, I guess, if they are into that, as far as something that they can put in their man cave or their little space that they have, personalizing something. I think anything that you can personalize and give as a gift is a good gift, whether it's male or female, because that's just theirs. It's nobody else's. And if you personalize it with their name, their initial, or something that they really like, and on top of that, use their favorite color or the color that matches the scheme of the room that you're making it for, or whatever, I think will go over very well. And I know I briefly mentioned ties, but um, and that's almost like a running joke, giving a tie as a gift. But you can always personalize that tie and make it even more special with their initial, with a phrase, with a design of some kind that has meaning for them, that they can wear proudly. And it's a conversation starter, like I said, an icebreaker. Somebody sees it, admires it, questions it. Where did you get this? All of that kind of stuff, I think, would really go over well. And Kim, hi Kim, how are you? Thank you for stopping by. And you say your son loves sloths. Got him a pot scrubber last year in the shape of a sloth. Okay, that's a good idea. Whatever they like, then that is something that is going to be something that they're going to remember. And you said one year you're making him an apron hot pads out of sloth fabric. That's a good idea. It goes back to what I mentioned earlier about their favorite sport team and getting material that has their sport team on it, or something like what Kim is saying, if they like particular animals, if they're a dog lover, a cat lover, if they like to hunt, got deers on it and rabbits or foxes or whatever it is that they like to hunt. And if they're farmers or into farming, whatever their hobbies may be, if they're into like the Star Wars and stuff like that. Like my son is a Trekkie, uh, Star Trek as well as Star Wars. We all kind of got into this Star Wars thing, so that would be something good and unique. Their favorite movie, and see if you can find a shirt or material or something that is depicted of their favorite movie, and then personalize that, those kinds of things. And Kim, you're saying not making a t-shirt quilt for I'm not. I'm not. You remember that. I told you I'm not gonna do that. I'm not making a t-shirt quilt. I'm not making a t-shirt quilt. Period. I tell you that. I'm not going to do that. What I am going to do, I'm going to make a rag quilt. I'm not going to do a t-shirt, but I am going to make a rag quilt. I already have my rag dye from AccuQuilt, and I haven't started. I haven't cut anything out with it yet. I don't know if Leslie, if you have either. I know Leslie and I got one at the same time, and but I haven't used mine yet. But I definitely intend to make a rag quilt. But I'm not going there with the t-shirt quilt. That's not going to happen. I'm telling you guys. I don't care how much you guys try to pressure me into it. I don't really I don't really want to make a t-shirt quilt, mainly because we really don't, my husband doesn't, and I don't, we don't have a large collection of t-shirts that would make a t-shirt quilt interesting. And therefore, I don't really have a desire to make one. I love what I've seen. The one that I've seen that Leslie did is absolutely gorgeous. It has a lot of meaning and everything, the memory, and that's what I would want out of a as far as a t-shirt quilt is concerned, and I don't have that. So that's the main reason. And I know, Kim, I know you just teasing me. I'm not upset at all about it. I'm just laughing because I forgot all about that until you brought it up, that you guys were trying to talk me into it. But I'm not gonna go there. And Leslie's convinced that I'm gonna do it because she told me I was gonna get into quilting, and I told her I wasn't gonna do that either, but I did. So, so I guess she thinks I'm gonna eventually change my mind and get into the t-shirt quilt, but I don't see that happen. I don't. I don't really see that happen. And Carol said, "I'm proud of me standing my ground." I gotta stand my ground on something, and Uh, that one I think I'm gonna stand my ground on. But as far as making another quilt, yes, I made the one that's hanging on the wall. We were supposed to do a reveal, and we all were going to do little mini quilts of some kind. And that was just before I moved back in March. And with the move and everything just kind of being put on hold and stuff like that, we never did get together and do the reveal. And everybody in the group didn't actually get a chance to do the project and stuff. So we kind of like skipped over it a little bit. But the one that's hanging, and I had shown you guys a little bit of this quilt anyway, and I specifically made it to be a wall hanging. I didn't want it to be a big thing. I wanted to put a little quilt on the wall of my new place because I knew I was moving. So that was my goal, and that's what I did, and that's what I came up with. So um, you guys see if I can, yeah. That's what it looks like total. So it's not real big. I can't remember exactly the size. I think it's like a 36 by 36, something like that. It's not huge, but that's it. And the binding is like purple, and the backing is the same color of the binding. So that's my little mini quilt that I have that I made just before um, I left Maryland. And like I said, I purposely was wanting to make it as a wall for it to be a wall hanging to hang on the wall of my new studio, and that's what I was able to do. So I've made 2 quilts so far, and I am committing myself to making a rag quilt because I think they're really, really cute. I have quite a bit of fleece, but it's all geared towards uh, youth, a baby, pretty much. And my great granddaughter will be turning 3, so she's still young enough for it. But I'm hesitant to make it because I've made that girl 59 zillion million quilts and blankets already. And she gonna say, Grandma, is that all you know how to do? Is that all you got to give me? So I'm like, maybe I need some more fabric and make something a little bit more mature. I don't know. So that's one of the main reasons why I haven't even started on it, because I haven't decided what theme I want to make it. Do I want to make it for myself or someone else, or do I want to make it for the baby? I have yet to decide. So can I use my quilt now and show pictures? I've been waiting. For Robin said. Robin's been waiting for us to do the reveal. And um, yes, Robin, go ahead and use your quilt. Just take pictures. Any and everybody else in the group that has made the quilt or whatever, go ahead and just take a picture. Go ahead and use it, give it away, or whatever it is that you were planning on doing it. Because I don't think we're going to be doing the reveal, because like I said, everybody didn't do it. And I think it was only like 4 of us that really did something. And so I said, we're moving on to a new project anyway. So we're just going to go from the new project that we're currently working on and move forward. So yes, Robin, you can go ahead and use and everything. And Kim, you're saying what is inside? What is inside the quilt? Um, the inside block is that what you're asking me? Or the bat? Okay, I have bought 3 different types of batting foam and not satisfied with anything for a wall quilt. I just use regular batting, if that's your question. I just use regular 80, what is it, 20 by 80, 20/80, which is I think like 80% cotton, 20% polyester. I think that's what it is. Batting, nothing special. That's what I use, and I'm just hanging it on the wall because I don't know anything different. I don't know that you need to use anything different, but I didn't use foam. That I've not used foam at all. I've only done 2 quilts, and both quilts I just used regular batting that you normally use to make a quilt, if that was your question. Nothing special. But what is it that makes you not satisfied with it for a wall quilt? Because I just hung this one up since I've been here, and I've only been here since 1st of April. So what is it, May? So yeah, I've only been here a little better than a month. So I hung it up then, and I did not know that you needed to use something different. So I might be missing something. Me, I am not a quilter. I'm learning how to quilt. So I don't have any advice or anything like that to give on quilting per se, other than for me personally, I feel like I was a lot more successful with this particular quilt than the first one as far as cutting out my pieces, because I used my AccuQuilt cutter to cut out all the pieces, and they were all uniformed and was much easier to stitch together and get all of the points and everything. Matter of fact, this pattern that I used, I got from the AccuQuilt site. There was a guy on there that was showing us beginners how to make a beginner's quilt. And that is the pattern that I use, because again, I'm not a quilter. I am learning how to quilt. I saw a rag quilt on the AccuQuilt site, liked what I saw, And that's what made me decide that I wanted to make a rag quilt. But trust me, I will be following directions and everything from either AccuQuilt site or someplace because I'm still learning. Now, you said the batting is either too heavy on the foam or too limp on the batting. Okay, I, I I'm I I'm fine with how mine. I have it pinned on all four corners, and it's hanging just fine. I don't have it on a rod or anything like that where it's just hanging. I actually have them pinned in all four corners. So I'm not having any issue with it being limp or anything. I mean, it's just like a quilt that you can use as a crib quilt or a lap quilt or something like that because the batting that I use is regular quilting batting that you would use if you were making it to put on a bed. Uh, I've not used foam. Um, And be honest about it, I didn't know that you use foam for a quilt. No, I didn't know that. So I can see where it would work, especially if you're doing a wall hanging. But I didn't do that. I just followed the direction from the guy on AccuQuilt, and he told you, what to buy, what to get, what to do, and all, and so forth and so on. And that's what I did. I followed his lead. So perhaps I can look into it and see if there is a recommendation whether you're making something for the wall. Now, I have to admit, I made a wall hanging from a pattern that I got off of, I believe it was designed by Juju. I did it for Christmas, and I think we did a reveal on that when we did our wall hanging projects. And it doesn't have, I don't think it has any batting in it at all. It just has the back and the front. It doesn't have anything in it, but it's on a rod and it just hangs. And it was designed to be a wall hanging. But as far as this quilt is concerned, I just pinned it up there. So I don't know if that helps or not, but that's what I did. And I don't know. Um, okay. Last ditch effort, you bought some Pelon fusible fleece for your wall hanging quilt. Did it work for you? I can see where that would be fine, where it would work, but I'm kind of thinking if it is any different than using the regular batting, because if I'm not mistaken, that may be even a little thinner than the regular batting. I don't know. But did it work? Did it work for you? You said it was your last ditch effort. And how big was your wall hanging that you made? Because this particular one, like I said, is basically a lap quilt. And I think the measurement is 36 by 36. Oh, so you haven't even tried it with the fusible. Yeah. Well, give it a try and let us know how it turns out for you since you bought that to make your wall hanging quilt with. I'm just going along with this one. My rag quilt that I'm hoping to make, I think I'm going to try to make it bigger and so I can use it to go on the bed, but it's not going to be a big giant quilt. It maybe a twin size quilt, whatever size that could, whatever measurement that would be, is probably what I am going to attempt for my next quilt. And because I don't have to put a backing on it, I think that's going to work out just fine. It's going to work out just fine with that, making it a little bigger. And so you said yours was a 30, you're wanting to make a 36 by 36, which would be approximately the size that I have hanging because I'm pretty certain that's what that is, 36 by 36. And and then you say, oh, you're the guinea pig. This time you can be the guinea pig. I'm always the guinea pig. So I'm ready to pass the torch on to you, Kim. You can be the guinea pig on this one and come back and let us know on this particular one. So yeah, let us know how. And you already bought it, so it's like since you got it and you plan on using it, go ahead and use it. Tell us how it turns out and what you think is different than what you've already tried. So for those of us that may be interested in doing something like that, then you'll have an idea. Because I'm pretty sure there are some people that want to make a wall hanging quilt or make a quilt and put it on your wall. Because that's what I did, to be honest about it. When I was making the quilt, initially, like, okay, it's a lap quilt. And then it dawned on me, I've seen other people put beautiful quilts on their wall. And I said, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this and I'm going to hang it on my wall in my next place. So that's why I decided to do that, just to hang it on the wall for decoration on the wall. That's all. I mean, will it stay there? Probably, but I don't know. I may probably take it down and put something else up at some point the next time I make a, a, a patterned quilt, because my rag quilt is just going to be blocks. It's not going to be a pattern quilt per se. I have seen a pattern. They call it a pattern, but it's still just rows of blocks put together. It wasn't a design of any kind that I saw. And so that's when I'm leaning towards just making rows of blocks all the way down. It just depends upon how big I want to make it, will determine how many rows across and how many rows down. I'm hoping that that's the way it's going to turn out. And with the AccuQuilt cutter, the AccuQuilt die should make it an easier project because I don't have to do all that clipping for the fringe part. And that was the main reason why I wanted to buy the die, to make it a little bit easier on me. And Kim, you said, anyone here remember rag rugs? My grandma made them. I'm thinking smaller ones for computer pads, etc. Okay. Um, hmm. I I don't. But if anybody else does, chime in, because I'm trying to think. Okay, Jenny. Jenny, you said, does batting have thicker sides a lot? Yes, it does. It does. You can get that much, I know. And actually, Robin answered as well. She said yes. And I knew the answer to that question because I've seen it myself. And there's a little booklet that I saw on Amazon that talks all about batting. And I was gonna. It's only like $8 or so. It's not really a lot. And I started to get it. I haven't gotten it yet, but um, I have it on my wish list. So I might get it and just kind of go through it one day, one of the live streams, and talk about the different kinds of battings you can get and the thickness and what they're for and stuff like that, is just for information. Um, and Kim, you said, do they still make bats? I don't know what that is. That's a good question. Anybody know the answer to it? Because I don't know what a bat is. I'm assuming it's a thicker batting. And if that's the case, what is it for? The only thing that I can think of is just to make your quilt thicker, heavier, so it will keep you warmer. Yeah. I don't know what a fat bat is. That's new to that's a new term to me. So I really don't know. And Jenny said, "Good to know. Thank you, Robin, Quilt Basket, and Miss Shirley." Yes, I did know that it definitely comes in different sizes, but or different thickness, I guess is a better word. I did know that. I'm trying to see if I can Google fat back. I'm not getting anything. Google's not my friend on that one because I'm not getting anything. I'm not heard of that terminology. Made by Mountain Mist. Okay. That's news to me. I don't know what that is. And Robin says, I don't know what they are. They have high loft and low loft. Yes, I do know that part. Uh, Mountain Mist batting. Well, Mountain Mist batting shows up on Amazon, and they have you can get medium loft, high loft, low loft, all of those things. You can get 100% polyester. You can get the 80/20. It's all of that kind of stuff, but I don't know. Let me look in my thing because I know I had the little book on my list of things that I wanted to get at some point and see if it's still in my list. It should be. There is a little pocket-sized book. It's called Know Your Baddings. It is on Amazon. It's paperback for $8.50. Know Your Baddings Carry Along Reference Guide for Quilters and Sewers. It's a handy resource to choosing and using the right batting for your project. And it tells you it's a pocket guide chart with definitions to help quilters choose the right batting for every project, avoiding costly mistakes. So I guess it really does pay to know what what kind of batting to get. And it is a chart, and they talk about clothing, table runners, and mats, and wall hangings. On here for wall hangers, it says 100% cotton. They're giving you a little example of what's in the book. Talks about bed quilts, art quilts, t-shirt quilts. Uh, what is this? Chantilly quilts, baby quilts, and mats. So those are some of the things that's in this little book. Talk about the fusible, the loft, which is the thickness of the batting. It is called loft. Generally, the higher the loft, the more open the fiber structure. Low loft batting is thin and flat. High loft batting is thicker and fluffier. So I may pick up that little book and just kind of go through it a little bit with you guys one day. But yeah, I knew that they had that because somebody had asked me about batting before, and I was going to get the little book and talk about it, and then life got in the way, and I didn't do it. So, but I had put it in my cart, and so it's still on my list. On my list. And okay, good night, Carol. Um, you were saying good night. Hubby has dinner already. Yep, I am spoiled. Good to have me back. Thank you. See you next time. Um, and Kim, you said AI brings it up. Good. Okay. Because I don't know what that is. And you have tons of it in the garage inherited from your mom. And she, okay. Sorry about your mom, but I never heard of fatback. And yeah, break it out and try it and let us know how it works. Robin, you said Amazon has it listed, but it's out of stock and they don't know when they're getting it back. Okay. Did not know that. Did not know that. I don't even know what that is, but I will look it up. Google didn't bring it up, but we'll see what the AI says. I didn't see it. Oh, okay. You Robin said Amazon says it's twice as thick as regular batting. So you're gonna have that really thick um, quilt. The only thing that I would be concerned about is doing the actual quilting. If you're going to do an edge to edge, or you're going to do a regular motif, or whatever you're going to do on your sewing machine, or are you going to send it out to get it long arm or whatever? Because if it's too thick, depending upon what kind of sewing machine you have, you may not be able to do the quilting without some type of difficulty. Definitely would have to use your walking foot. I would be pretty and you know, if you got a Juki or something like that, it may not be an issue. But if you have it real thick, I would think that that may be a concern when it comes to doing the actual quilting or putting the motif on it or whatever you're going to do. And you said that it was used back in the day when all you did, when we all did tie quilts. Okay, okay. Well, again, I'm not a quilter, so I'm just learning about quilting and all of the different products and what have you that you need and use in quilting. So this is new to me, but it's good information. Um, but back to my wall hanging quilt, I just use regular batting. I think it was the 80/20. I'm not 100% sure on that. Uh, because I don't remember if I just used what I already had or if I actually bought something. Because I do have or did have quite a bit of batting. I don't have that much batting left over. I gotta buy some more. But yeah, that's good to know. But like I said, I think I'm gonna get that little reference book and just kind of cruise through it, and then talk to you guys another day about the info that I found out and everything, and go from there. And I'm gonna look up Fatback. So I don't know what that's all about. So that was good. Good information. Good information. So you guys, before I sign off tonight and everything, so glad everybody came in and to welcome me back. So glad that you guys still know that I exist and wanted me back on air. I was so ready to get back on air and everything. And my internet didn't go out on me, so I was able to do the whole show and everything. So I'm glad about that. But what I do want, and hopefully you guys, I do need you to give me some suggestions. It's always helpful for me, the things that you want me to talk about and get information on, bring you up to date and all that stuff, especially now that I'm working because I don't have a lot of free time to kind of look at videos and different things like I used to come up with ideas and everything. So if you guys can just shoot me some potential questions, potential ideas, stuff, put it in the chat. Let me know what you might be interested in hearing about, questions that you may have, something that you may have run across that you you know you may be confused about, or you heard this was good and that was good, and which one do I think is better? Anything like that would be very helpful to me because I want to make sure, as usual, that I'm going to bring you information that is going to be useful and something that would be beneficial, that would add to what you may know or may not know, because we're all here learning as usual. We share and we help each other out. That's the whole purpose of this live stream that I do, is to it's a give and take situation. And you all give me info, I'll give you info, and then we'll go on and continue with the chatting and all of that and have a lot of fun. Uh, okay, Jenny, you said that's how your mom made it. I didn't. Yeah. Again, when I was young, back in the day in Mississippi, we did quilting out of necessity. It was not something that was done for fun, and we mostly made blue jean quilts. We had a lot of old jeans and stuff that we would cut up and make quilts out of them. I don't even know if there was a desired pattern, but it definitely was a quilt. And we did hand sewing, and that's what I grew up doing with my grandmother, because we didn't have a sewing machine and we didn't have money to go buy materials and stuff. So we used what we had. And because it was in the South and we didn't have central heating, central air, and all of that stuff, you had to literally build a fire. Uh, it got cold. So we wanted stuff that was going to keep us warm. So that's what we did. We made quilts out of jeans. So that was my introduction to quilting. And that's probably one of the reasons why I didn't have a desire to learn how to quilt, because that was my introduction to quilting. And we did it by hand, and it was a lot of work. And for me, it was not a lot of fun. But as I've grown and aged and have seen beautiful, beautiful, beautiful quilts where now it is an art form, I appreciate beautiful quilts. And therefore, especially now that I have an AccuQuilt cutter, I am much more open to learning how to quilt because I feel comfortable with doing some of the cutting now, and putting it together is time consuming, true enough, but it's not difficult, um, especially if you have all of your pieces cut out correctly. I believe, and you guys can correct me, if you can cut your pieces out correctly, then you're going to do a much better and a much easier job with piecing them together and making a quilt. That's what it seems like to me. Because this one that I made that's hanging in the back was a lot easier to make than the very first one that I made, that I actually cut out freehand and messed up a whole lot of them. Um, a lot of material that I actually ran out of material and had to go buy some more. With this one, I was able to use what I bought and cut everything out, and it all fit together, and I was able to move through it quite quickly. So it was not a bad experience for me. And Kim, you said you started out making clothes for Barbie dolls. I never did. I don't even think I had a Barbie doll. I always wanted one, but I don't think I had one. Um, and your two daughters, they don't sew. You say you have failed as a mom. No, you haven't. I am making sewing boxes for each of the four older granddaughters. Well, that's cool. My daughter doesn't sew either. She doesn't sew, she doesn't knit, she doesn't crochet, she doesn't embroider, she don't put buttons on, she don't hem pants. She don't do nothing that has anything to do with crafting, to be honest about it. And she has no interest in it. So, it is what it is. I think either you have that desire or you don't. Uh, Kim, you said you learned in the 6th grade. Your mother gave you a pattern, pens and fabric and scissors, and went off to bingo. When she came back home, I was sitting at the table bawling my eyes out. Why? Because you couldn't figure out what to do with it. Oh my goodness. My daughter told me, Mom, you didn't teach me how to sew. You never did teach me how to sew. And I'm like, "Mm, I didn't know I was supposed to." I learned how to sew what little bit I learned in school because in my day, we had to take home economics. It was not an elective, it was part of our curriculum. And it started in the 7th grade and all the way through high school. So that's how I learned how to do my sewing. And I loved doing it and I did well with it and I did continue to sew outside of school and would make clothes for myself and for my daughter. But then when I started college and a career and all that kind of stuff, the sewing fell by the wayside because when you got a family and a full-time job, uh, you don't have time for a hobby. So that went out the window and I didn't sew anymore. And I have not made a garment in decades. Although I have some patterns where I'm intending on making some, that's why I was so happy that I have the room to let my table out and I can go all the way around it so I can actually lay out fabric and pattern and stuff and cut and everything like I want to so I can make some things and try to get back into the swing of sewing. I'm going to start off slow um, and see how that goes. But I do want to get my sewing skills back up. And not that I want to make garments and all that kind of stuff. I just want to be able to be comfortable putting something together if I want to make something. So, Kim, you said you learned in the 6th grade and what? You felt like your mom threw you in the middle of the lake and said, sink or swim. Oh boy. And bought the ugliest, cheapest fabric in the 7th grade to make a skirt for home ec. Imagine my horror when I found out we actually had to wear it to school for the final grade. Oh my goodness. I can imagine, especially since you picked out the ugliest fabric you could find. I don't remember if we had to wear our out. I don't remember if we had to wear our outfits that we made, our skirts, because that's what we made. Made an A-line skirt, made a A-line skirt with the pleat in it. I remember that was pink. Uh, Things like that, pillows, something else we made. But I don't remember having to wear it and model it or anything like that, even though we did, because we wore what we made because we didn't have a whole lot of money. So that was just an extra garment. You had to pay for that fabric, so you were going to make use of it. So we wore what we made to school. So we didn't pick out anything ugly or anything like that. We picked out what we really liked. And you said yours was mustard and olive green paisley. Okay, all righty. But that was fun. I enjoyed sewing and learning how to sew, and I really wish I had kept my skills up because I used to be pretty good at it, and I used to could do a lot of different stuff. Now I'm relearning how to sew, so my skill level isn't that up to par yet, as far as I'm concerned. I can do simple sewing, I can keep a straight line pretty relatively well. I don't sew as fast as I used to, because believe it or not, I worked in a sewing factory for 6 years in between high school and college, because I started college late in life. And I sold for a living, basically. I worked in a sewing factory. So I used to be pretty good with sewing and quick and everything like that. But, it's either use it or lose it. And that is definitely a true statement. If you don't use it, you will lose a skill, regardless of what it is. Sewing, cooking, singing, whatever. Because I used to do all three of those things. And now I don't. Well, I cook okay, but I don't bake. And I used to bake a lot better. Um, but use it or lose it, because your mind forgets, your hand forgets. The skill level has to be, you have to get retrained. But okay, guys, it is now 10 o'clock, and I've had you guys on here for a couple of hours. We've had some really good conversation. Do appreciate that. I didn't get anybody put any suggestions into the chat. So you still can put information in. You can go to my channel, go into the community section, put some ideas in there. I really, 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 really need you guys' help. So please, please, please give me some thoughts, some suggestions, some recommendations, whatever. And Leslie and Robin and whoever else, Van, whoever else is on here, you guys don't forget there will be a Zoom tomorrow night, and I will see you guys there. And for everybody else, if it's the Lord's will, I will see you guys next Tuesday. And hopefully, I'll have something interesting and exciting to talk about. And we will go from there. And again, I appreciate it. I do need those thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Please, please, please. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do. It is very important. It does help the channel. It helps support the channel, and keeps me on air, and keep me able to do what I do, and I do appreciate it. So with that being said, one more question. Kim said, "Do you interface your fabric before or after you embroider?" Um, are you talking about the stabilized? I'm not quite sure I understand the question, but nonetheless, I appreciate everybody. Good night. You guys take care, and I will see you guys next week. Bye bye.